The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let's move on to the main event. In the welterweight division, we had your former long-reigning welterweight champion Kamura Usman defeating your up-and-comer out of St. Louis, Joaquin Buckley. And round one, Usman got that takedown early and controlled Buckley for the remainder of the round. Got good ground and pound, cut Buckley with those sharp elbows. And round two started off with both guys trading on the feet. Then with about 2 minutes in, Usman shot for the takedown and got it. Then more ground and pound to ride that round out. And round three, the first half, Buckley looked good on the feet. That might have been his best round. I don't know if fifth round was, so I kind of jumped ahead of myself. But he landed some nice shots and then had bad intentions. But in that second round, Usman got that single leg and beat Buckley up on the ground for the rest of the round. And round four, both guys traded shots on the feet. Buckley still looked like he had more gas in the tank and he was the more dangerous guy when they were on the feet, but Usman did a good job of neutralizing them, and Usman even looked good with his jab up to that point. Then with about 2 minutes left, Usman went back to his bread and butter, got Buckley down again and controlled him on the ground for the rest of the round. And then round five was probably Buckley's best round, and he came out and on attack and threw that head kick and that got pretty close and fended off. He was actually had some defense and fended off multiple takedowns in that round. And Buckley caught Usman with some nice shots, and including that uppercut. It looked like kind of shaky there, especially thinking back to the Edwards fight. Like, oh, is he gonna be able to survive? But it was just too little, too late, and Usman was able to survive that and get the win. Well, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's I guess it looks like there's levels to it. You know, coming from a veteran, it looks like he still got it and can still linger in that area of probably potentially coming back. But impressive of Buckley because, you know, I thought he would have better wrestling defense than that. But at the end of that fifth round, I think I saw Kamaru a little bit give him respect because he had some more gas in the tank. Well, when you're supposed to be more exerted when you're on the bottom most of the time, and I would say Buckley was exerting more energy that fight. I think that fifth round, Buckley was on him, and if it was more than 5 rounds, I think Kamaru, but that's not the game. It's 5 rounds.
What if it was a Diaz style fight to the death?
Oh yeah, I think Buckley would have got him. Kamaru was looking tired that fifth round.
Diaz rules, it would have been all Buckley, but if not Diaz rules, this is UFC rules. But yeah, like it was looking shaky for Usman in that fifth round. But a win is a win, and he looked good and really good in those first 4 rounds. And y'all must have forgot. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know like how I feel as far as like Usman's future. Because, he fought that middleweight fight against Chimaev. Didn't look terrible in that fight. It was hung in there. But I feel like he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you got Islam Makhachev coming up to welterweight, defeats Jack Della Maddalena. Also, you got Shavkat Rakhmonov still in the welterweight division. So those may be big hurdles for Usman, and he's talking about going up to middleweight and possibly contending for the title there. You still got DDP, and you got Khamzat Chimaev, them facing off at the end of the summer. Like, him and Izzy are like they're not blood brothers, but they consider themselves brothers. I don't know if you even want to face him at there. I don't think they wouldn't fight each other, but Dana, he would try to force him to fight if it came to being in title contention. But what do you see Usman at this point as far as him wanting to get another title shot?
I think he's one of those that have to sit and wait till who wins these fights are already scheduled. And I think he's still a useful fighter to market to get back in the game. I mean, that was a good win, so he stayed at his number 5 spot. So I think he might get another chance on going up.
So at this point, of course, he's got a marketable name, so there's fights for him to have as far as like if you want to make some money, put him on some fight nights, pique people's interest. But do you see him actually fighting for a title within the next year or two?
Well, and welterweight champ is
Jack Della Maddalena.
Atlanta. That might possibly because Kamaru's wrestling might outdo Maddalena's style.
I agree with you, but like Maddalena might not be the champion for that long. What if Islam gets the belt? You think Usman would match up well with him? Even a Shavkat, like those two, you don't think Usman would have issues with both of those guys, Shavkat and Islam?
Most definitely. But definitely, like I said, the market, he's still in the top 5, still putting up formidable fights as a champion, former champion. I think it's just a lingering chess piece to play around with later on.
Yeah, and in my personal opinion, he's 38 at this point. I just think those roadblocks, like if Islam would have stayed at lightweight, we saw Shavkat, he looked human against who did he face? Was it Gilbert Burns he faced? He looked human again? Oh, it was Machado Gary. It was Machado Gary. He looked human against Machado Gary. So you never know, especially with Usman. He's got that wrestling. That's the great neutralizer. I don't know. I still view, even though Shavkat had that fight against Gary, for some reason he's still the boogeyman in my eyes in that division. But like we said, it might have been level competition because up until that Gary fight, we were saying like his resume was kind of shaky.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Like I just think those roadblocks might get in Usman way, and then looking at the middleweight division as well. I think I would like that matchup between him and DDP, but like I said, DDP's got that matchup against Hamzat Chimaev. So, and I think even at middleweight, I don't think if Hamzat gets the belt at middleweight, I think he's gonna have like a long, lengthy title reign. I don't think nobody's gonna be able to get that off him for a while. So, like Usman is like he would be the beneficiary of if they had a 165 division. I think Usman would be able to cut another 5 pounds and be able to reign, but UFC doesn't sanction that division. So, but sticking on the subject of this fight, looking at the other side of things, looks like Buckley has a hole in his game with the wrestling. Like, and even Cruz pointed it out. Like, what some of those some of those shots that Usman did, like any other person would probably not any other person, but somebody who had some, sound defense with a defender. Like one he shot from like all the way from Florida. It seemed like he shot far away and still got it on Buckley. So do you think Buckley is in the gym where he's like the best guy and it's not really anybody to really test him like that as far as his like defense goes?
I think so, because a lot of it had to do probably with his strength. But, strength against, somebody with technical skill. Like you said, he was getting some takedowns that through time we've been seeing his past fights. I'm like, damn, I didn't think he would get taken down that many times so easily. Where we were seeing him with not Cody Garbrandt. What's his name?
Who Buckley fought?
Usman fought.
Who Kamaru?
No, Buckley. No, my bad. Buckley fought.
Colby Covington?
Colby Covington, yeah. and it seemed like he was doing his job on the wrestling part, and it just like it fell apart with Kamaru. I don't know what happened.
Well, we saw Usman beat Kobe twice, so maybe Usman is just that on another higher level than Kobe, and maybe Kobe's a shell of himself. But yeah, like, for him for those first 4 rounds, he finally was able to end it 5th round, but maybe that's because Usman was getting tired. So it seems like I think Buckley trains out of St. Louis. Maybe he needs to branch out. Maybe he doesn't have to leave his gym, but maybe he needs to collaborate. I know out there in Milwaukee, they have Rufus out there. Yeah, maybe he needs just to branch out and collaborate with some gyms as far as that goes, because there's wrestlers on that in the welterweight division, middleweight division, lightweight. Those are like sharks as far as wrestlers go. So if he wants to vie for a championship, he definitely needs to fix that hole in his game. But before that, Buckley was on like a hell of a winning streak. He had 6 fights he won in a row, so he was like knocking on the door of maybe sneaking in a title contention. And where does he go from here?
Yeah, I think this fight, if he would have won it, he definitely would have been shot up there. But I can say that I don't know if he lost his spot because it's not, he challenged somebody, higher in the rankings. But I think maybe this was a style matchup. Maybe he needs to, around that area, get maybe 2 or 3 more fights, and I think he'll be right back in title contention. I mean, because he's a dominant fighter. Taking out, I mean, some of them were old, like Stephen Thompson, whatever, but he's gotten some wins over some veterans.
Yeah, and wasn't he? Yeah, he was, because he was in the middleweight division, and even in the UFC, he was floating back and forth. But I definitely think he needs to stick to welterweight. I think that's more guys his size. But just off the top of your head, any names that you think you would like to see him match up with?
Yeah. See. Well, he said he wants to get that one back from Kevin Holland.
Oh, I don't think I would like that for him. That's fighting a little bit too much down. We see Holland is a gatekeeper. I was gonna say, because I was looking to see if he had anything on the slate. What about him and Gary, 6 and 7?
That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, even though Prates just lost to Gary, but yeah, you can match those two up. Is Prates ranked? Prates is a little bit lower ranking. He's 13. I'd like to see Buckley maybe go like either 2 spots above him or 2. Well, he can't do it against Usman now because he just lost, or 2 spot like somewhere in it, and he beat. Well, I don't think him and Burns have faced off.
No, not Gilbert Burns.
Like, that'd be the lowest I want to see Buckley fight down to, because Burns is number 10. But yeah, I'd say Gary and him would be like the perfect matchup. I don't think UFC will do that though, because I think for some reason they like Gary a lot. I think they're gonna try to protect him some. But I think that'd be the perfect matchup as far as those two go. But yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, he lost to one of the greatest welterweight champions. It's a short list of people that you could say better welterweights than Usman is as far as all time. Of course, GSP. And then we splitting hairs after that. A lot of people throw Matt Hughes in there. So it's no shame in losing to Usman Buckley. So he'll be back. We'll see who they match him up with next. Thank you for checking out this Haymaker Combat Sports segment. This full episode could be found on the Haymaker Combat Sports YouTube page and in audio form on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, peace.